Versailles, a palace of unimaginable grandeur. Today, millions visit each year to admire its beauty. But behind the glittering halls and endless gardens lies a story of ambition, human suffering, and one of history's greatest ironies. The story of Louis XIV, the Sun King. Louis XIV came to power as a young boy during a time of chaos. The nobility had rebelled against the crown, teaching him a harsh lesson. Power must never be shared lightly. To secure his rule, he devised a bold plan, a palace that would dazzle, impress, and above all, control. Versailles was not just a residence. It was a golden cage, a magnificent stage where the nobility would orbit around him like planets around the sun. It was to be a monument to make his name immortal, a legacy that would echo through history. What began as his father's simple hunting lodge transformed into the grandest palace in Europe. Tens of thousands of craftsmen, masons and gardeners worked tirelessly, shaping marble, gold, mirrors and fountains into a monument fit for a god-king. Every single detail was designed to overwhelm the senses and declare Louis XIV's absolute supremacy. But this splendor came at a price, a staggering price, paid by the people of France. Versailles was financed on the backs of ordinary people. Peasants and townsfolk carried the heaviest tax burden, while the nobles and clergy were largely exempt. Salt, bread, land and trade were all taxed. Even during years of famine, the tax collectors came knocking. Families struggled to feed their children while the king's coffers overflowed. Versailles rose higher and higher, built quite literally on hunger. Inside the palace walls, life was pure theatre. Nobles vied for the honor of pouring the king's wine or holding his chair. Every gesture, every glance reinforced the strict hierarchy with the Sun King at its center. But outside those gilded gates, the vast majority of France suffered. Bread was scarce, fields failed, families starved. To the common people, Versailles was not a symbol of national glory. It was a monument to their inequality, a constant reminder of their hardship. For Louis XIV, Versailles achieved everything he wanted. He cemented his control, earned unrivaled prestige, and secured his immortality. All of Europe marveled at the palace. The powerful nobility remained close and occupied, and history has certainly remembered the Sun King. But the kingdom paid dearly. Endless wars, unchecked extravagance, and crushing debt sowed deep seeds of resentment. A century later, by the time of Louis XVI, Versailles had become the ultimate symbol of oppression. In 1789, hungry Parisians marched on the palace, demanding bread and justice. The Sun King's shining monument had become the perfect mirror of his people's suffering. And yet, history is full of delicious ironies. Versailles, once despised as the emblem of inequality, now welcomes millions of visitors each year. Most marvel at the architecture, the gardens, and the sheer brilliance of the Sun King's vision. Few, however, remember the human cost, the hunger, the back-breaking labor, the heavy taxes. The palace that once symbolized suffering now inspires awe and wonder. Louis XIV built Versailles to glorify himself, control his kingdom, and make his name last forever. He knew the people bore the burden, and he gambled that future generations would admire the beauty, not the cost. Versailles is a perfect mirror of history. For the king it was glory, for the people it was suffering, and for us today it is heritage.
And perhaps that is history. Its greatest irony, a palace built on hunger, now feeds the imagination of the world. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more stories from the past that still shape our world today. Thanks for watching.